Hey everybody, it is Calxiyn here, and thank you for attending Calxyn's Royal Court today, where we are gathered here to discuss ODDTAXI Episode 9, as well as, of course, the corresponding audio drama. But before we get into it, my little housekeeping things, remember to subscribe if you want to get notified about when I post an ODDTAXI video, join the Discord server if you want to talk about ODDTAXI with me outside of just this comment section, and all the other people in our Discord server that are watching it as well. And thank you to all the patrons and YouTube membership members for supporting the channel directly. If you want to help support me to make videos like these, because they are very, I would say, like, specialized kind of niche videos, you can totally check that out and get some cool rewards as well, because you can see my full-length timer and subtitle reactions that are exclusive on Patreon, so you don't just see my highlights, you see, like, me watching the entire episode. I've really enjoyed chatting with you guys. I know that we're getting towards the end, and I'm kind of sad about it, so let's make the most of it, and let's just get into it. Damn, so little Daimon isn't, like, convinced. Aw, damn. Okay, well, let's go then. Oh, damn, outside my jurisdiction. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So he's telling Tachi to show up at the wharf, I guess. I don't know if that's gonna go very well. Oh my god. Oh my god, girl. This is not what you say to anybody after, you know. Damn, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Oh my god, why is this girl? Damn, oh my god. Damn. Damn, be careful what you wish for, sir. Damn. Jesus Christ! That's not good. Whoa! He deserved that, though. Damn! So he took that picture of Dobu not for... Oh! He took it for Tachi, not for little Daimon. Oh my god. So Odokawa was laying a trap! But what about the gotcha guy? Like, we haven't seen him in such a long time. Damn! Oh my god, it's all coming together. Damn, come on, Dobu. You know what I mean? Who gives a fuck? This is about rescuing Kakihana. Uh-oh. That's not good. I feel like that van's gonna hit him, bro. Oh no! Yeah, look at that van. That must be the gotcha guy, maybe. Like, look at that truck and how it's moving. Dobu's gonna be like, bro, what the fuck? I mean, I think so. Yeah, look at that truck that's tailing them, bro. That's not good. Oh my god. Oh, you can't see? Oh, of course, it's the gotcha guy. Oh shit, Dobu got shot? Well, that's not good. Oh, fuck. Really? Bro, you can't take your gun back. He has a gun. He's literally shooting. Wait, but maybe he's gonna be out of bullets soon. Dobu? Okay, nice. I think. No! Not the kitty cat! Okay. Nice! Odokawa's good nature just saved them, I think. Bro, did you not just get shot? Like, are you okay? Damn, oh my god. 3 days, oh my god. Damn, no, I feel like that's foreshadowing. No, Odokawa. I don't want Odokawa to drown. Damn, how though? Like, what, how? What if no one's there, bro? Oh my god. Okay. Aw, damn. Oh yeah, because they're all in the same gang, so. Damn! The shade of it all! Oh no! Is Dobu gonna be okay though? He doesn't have a a gun or anything. You know, like, is Dobu that strong? But I guess they only look like animals, right? They aren't actually animals. So, you know, they're just two men fighting. Come on, Odokawa! A bit more fast-paced, eh? Like, he's just so like, da-da-da-da-da, like, bro, you know what I mean? Oh! Pull your pants up and let's go, okay? Damn, look at these guys just fighting. Oh, you know, it'd be like that sometimes. Don't worry. Is that it? Is that really it? Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow, he's just leaving Dobu there? I guess Dobu said, though, to get Kakihana and fuck off, right? So, I guess that's fine. But, like, you know what I mean? Oh, no. But I don't think that was Skull Mask. I don't think it was Skull Mask. Why waste a bullet on Dobu when his real target's Odokawa? Damn. Jesus Christ. Really, Odokawa? Well, at least they can laugh about it together like old friends, I guess. Question mark. Oh, see, it's not. It's Tachi. Bro, is this not illegal? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he just, like, what? What do you mean? Jesus Christ. Oh, Tachi, you're gonna get murdered. I'm so sorry, sir. But, like... Wait, he doesn't have a gun? He just took the opportunity? Wait, what? Wait, what? Just like that? Jesus Christ! Damn. Oh, Tachi, he just did it because he wanted the clout. Yep. Exactly. He didn't have any principles. All he wanted was a oh my god! Jesus Christ. Oh my god, a Dobu! He just has a bullet in his leg and they're just having this oh my god! Oh my god. Yeah, I heard that. It's about being a reverse narcissist. You know what I mean? I've heard that before. It's about, like, people who self-deprecate themselves so much. Yeah! That's true! I saw that on Dr. K! Oh my god. Yeah! Dobu! Wow! Dobu spitting facts! Oh my god, that's actually true! I saw Dr. K made a video about that. Oh my god! Okay, good job, Tachi, I guess. Is that true? Wait, what? Yeah, wow, so is he at square one now? Tachi's not gonna have any money? Like, one more thing, I didn't shoot people at the thing. I'm sure that that's what he'll say, you know. One more thing, put out an amendment that I did not do the, what was it? The golden dolphin thingy. Damn. Okay. Okay, Odokawa. That is a good question. Well, I guess Odokawa is sympathetic. Is this really about her and not the missing girl? Oh my god, Tachi. Wait, he didn't post. He didn't post the video of him getting shot, I guess. Damn. Damn. But Tachi got psychologically, you know, whoa! Bro! Oh my god, Dobu. And he's still limping! He got shot! Really? No! He's not gonna throw it in the water. He's not that stupid. Go get a refund, bro. Go get a No! What about your debt, Kakihana? What the fuck? He just threw the ring in the water? You needed that! You could have paid off your debt! He's gonna go get it, right? Yeah, that's what I thought, you idiot. Oh, the landlady is his guardian. Oh. Oh. Wait, it's a secret? Really? That's weird. There's this, like, secret organization. What? Oh. Damn. They're not missing. See, that's why everyone thought they were missing, but they're dead. That's what I was saying. That's what I said. I was like, there's no way that they're missing. They've been dead, bro. Okay, everybody, so there is no translation for this, but I did find one like on the wiki, like there's no like video, so I'm just going to read it. Is it serious that Sakaguchi can't move because of Dobu? Okay, so this is 9.9, which means it takes place after the events of episode 9, right? So obviously, Sakaguchi has been hurt because of Dobu, and that's what we saw in this episode. There are trustworthy henchmen, but this place was a secret. I mean, wait a minute. You can't trust them with this stuff, right? This bastard, I'm completely humiliated. I'm on my own after all. So I think basically what he's saying in there is like, how did they find this place? Basically, like his henchmen must have exposed it to someone, or else how did Dobu know? And what he doesn't realize is that the manager accidentally exposed it to Odokawa, and then Odokawa exposed it basically to Dobu, right? And so that's like the connection. So I wonder if the manager will be in trouble. Lying down at the pier, we're always looking up. It become great by not asking questions. The star we looked up to flowed away and disappeared. So that's kind of interesting too, because I wonder, like the boss's friend, if it's Don Roku, were they in the business together and then like, you know, Don Roku got famous and like left and stuff, right? Because like, I don't know, the boss is like friend and everything. Like, do they look up to the boss? Is that what it means? I don't know. A childhood with beatings and rearing. Imagine climbing up from hell. So maybe this is like his backstory. Turn the pen you hold into a kitchen knife to block out your thoughts, right? And so I think that they're talking about the ballpoint pen right there. Oh, Sakaguchi, I remember. Do you know what this is? Mystery Kiss's manager, Yamamoto, had the same ballpoint pen. A ballpoint pen worth 500 million yen towards good fortune by holding it. And so he's basically saying, you know, like this pen that I have now came from the manager, right? How suspicious, my man. Everything may be collapsing. I'm half dead of hunger in my hideout. Honestly, I should give it back to Yamamoto. By the way, when I said that, I keep getting hungrier. Wait a minute. How did he get it? How did Yano get it? Because it went back to the bar lady. So how did he get it? Did he go to the bar? Maybe he could have went to the bar for food, I guess, but no, but he already has food, or he's not having food. He has no food. So that's interesting. How did he get the pen from the bar lady? Because, okay, Don Ranku gave it to the bar lady, and now somehow Yano has it. And Yano knows that, like, the manager had it once, but instead of getting it from the manager, it, like, traveled all the way to the bar. So I feel like that's what he's saying. It's like, you know, like, I got this pen from somewhere else, but, like, Yamamoto had it too. So it's like, you know, he's realizing that it's doing, like, all the circles, and so then he'll give it back to Yamamoto. Okay. All right, everybody, let us get into the review. And so we start with Odokawa talking to little Daimon, we think. And so he is not very convinced, and I feel like it's just because of like the love for his brother. Obviously, he doesn't want to think that his brother has been, you know, involved in all these crimes and everything like that. Maybe he lied out of desperation. All we know for sure is that Dobu is planning to rob a bank, that's all. And he actually comments on this. He's like, oh, your love for your brother's beautiful, right? Like you love him so much you can't see what's already in front of you, but that's good enough for me. I want to let Dobu keep going for now. And so he almost comes to help him, like, you know, get Kakihana, but then it's like, oh, you know, like there's jurisdiction, right? And so I like that. That's right. Evil is afoot. That's unbelievably evil. And if evil is afoot, it's time for me to act, right? And so you're gonna help me? Of course, punishing evil is my job. Where do I go? And then to the wharf, right? Outside my jurisdiction, right? And so that's the whole thing. Is like, he clearly like has this sense of justice, right? But the sense of justice is overshadowed by all this like paperwork, right? That he has to follow as a police officer. Odokawa doesn't need to worry about that, right? And so I doubt you're aware, but there's this thing called extra jurisdictional authority. And so, like, Odokawa was like, I don't care, like, whatever. You can come help me as a private citizen if you want, like, whatever. I don't need help from the cops. But he never shows up, so it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If you don't tear it out by the roots, it just comes back. That's interesting. That's a very interesting thing to say as well, because who is the root of this? Is it Yano? Is it the boss? Right? Like, who is really the root of this evil when you really think about it? So that's kind of like some food for thought, because Yano and Dobu are just doing this all for Boss, but Boss is the one who wants to find the missing girl who like started all this in the first place, right? And so isn't it kind of like messed up how like that works, is that they may have like killed the missing girl in pursuit of what like making the boss happy, I guess you could say, right? Like making the boss money. Again, if they switched out Mitsuya for the missing girl or something and Mystery Kiss is all involved, and now the boss is like, well, actually, I want you to find this missing girl, but they may be responsible for the disappearance of them, right? Where the hell did you learn all those words? I'll talk to you later. So I just really like their conversation. Then we also have Tachi posting a video on his YouTube channel that has 2 million subscribers. You know, he wasn't doing that bad, right? He gets Dobu sightings and fan letters to that email. And so basically, Odokawa sets him up. He uses that picture of Dobu to be like, hey, here's some proof, like I'm basically ratting out Dobu, come to the wharf if you want to like catch him, right? And so I think that that was really smart. Also, the like to dislike ratio here is pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see, but we have 70, oh my gosh, where did that bug come from? I don't know if you guys saw, there's a fly in here. Anyway, there's 72,000 likes and then 1,000 dislikes, so that's like pretty good, because that's only like 170 1/72nd, like if we were doing a fraction, 72. Oh dear, you guys know what I mean? Like, it's a good like to dislike ratio. It's not like 50-50, despite the fact that they were saying that he got haters. Oh, in this commentary of social media is very, very interesting to me. So yeah, he's basically ratting out Dobu and setting him up here, and then we basically go to Tachi, who's like, he seems to be living the high life. He has like wine, there's food, there's room service, right? And then there's also like, you know, a girl with him, right? You should catch Dobu soon and become the real hero, right? And like, I think that this scene is hilarious from the idea of like, why would you say that? You know what I mean? I think that that's the point, is that this girl is like a manifestation of everything that he hears online already. But I'm just like y'all are having, you know, an intimate moment and she's bringing up like social media or something. I feel like that's like its own commentary, right? That like she like can't necessarily be like happy in the moment. She has to be like, oh, but you know what's going on social media? You have a lot of haters. You should do this and be like the real hero. Like as if he doesn't hear like enough of this already. You know what I mean? So I thought that that was like an interesting commentary as well. They're saying you're not a hero, that you're just an approval hungry monster, which is true. That you're scared of Dobu, which is true. That you offered, that you brainwashed them into making offerings. I don't think that that's true. You know what I mean? I don't think that they were brainwashed. They wanted to believe in a hero, and that's kind of the crux of it, right? They wanted to believe in someone like Tachi, and so they did, rather than like actually like using logic, I guess you could say, right? Like they wanted to believe in a hero, and so they put all of that faith in Tachi to be one, you know, even though Tachi's really not. Like I feel like in this case the public deceived themselves a lot, like based off of their own desperation to want someone like that to be real, right? Once you peel back your pretense of divinity, you're just an ordinary guy, but that's true, right? And so I'm just like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, what did you expect? Like, there is no divinity, you know what I mean? You guys are the ones that kind of did that, not him, right? And like, oh, the sleeping with the female followers thing, I did not expect for them to call that out. That's just like such a common thing, and I can't even like wrap my head around it. Like it's such like a power imbalance, first of all, and then also it's just like I don't know, it's just so bad. Like there's just so many angles, and I find it interesting that the show addressed it, because it seems like that Tachi is kind of using his power imbalance to get things that he normally wouldn't get. Like I doubt he would sleep with this girl if he didn't have all this like fame and attention, right? And so there's like a total power imbalance, and it's just also like, what do y'all have in common other than your love of yourself? You know what I mean? Like Dobu points out later, and Dobu's like psychoanalysis is actually very correct, at least from my understanding anyway, my limited understanding, right? Like of him being a narcissist, just in the opposite direction. That is so true. And so isn't that like the whole thing though about like dating a fan, is like, what do you have in common with them other than that you're both like invested in yourselves. Like that's like so narcissistic because the other person is like in love with you, right? The persona that you present online. And then meanwhile, you're also in love with yourself because you're a narcissist. Like the only thing that you have in common is like that sort of thing, if that makes sense. Like the only thing that you have in common is that you both love you, I guess, right? And so I feel like that's just so shallow too. You know what I mean? Like it's different if you meet somebody as a fan and you get to know them, you become friends over the course of years, and then you start to date, right? Because at that point, the creator persona basically comes down, right? And you become genuine, like, friends with them, right? And so, you know what's funny is that I heard this from someone once, a YouTuber friend of mine was saying, and they were saying that like they have a lot of friends that started out as fans that watched their videos, and then like as they became friends with him, those people stopped watching his videos and just became friends with him because I don't want to call it like a barrier, but the veil had sort of been lifted. And it's not that they didn't enjoy his content anymore, but it's like they transitioned from fan to friend, and usually most of the time, right, your friends won't watch all of your content. They may watch some of your content, of course, right, but they aren't your fan anymore after they become your friend. And so I found that very interesting for that content creator to sort of talk about that, like, you know, all of these like guys that he had like followed and met once like as fans now became his friends, but because they became his friends, right, like, you know, they also didn't become like, they weren't staying as fans. Basically they had like transitioned into just being like friends that didn't see him as a content creator anymore, I guess you could say. And so I find that very fascinating, right? So I feel like that's the only case where it's acceptable. It's if like you get out of the realm of being a fan and you're just a friend and then you can start dating, like that's fine. But this is obviously that he's just using his, you know, his following in order to, again, like what she says, sleep with all of the fans, right? And so then he basically like has a little breakdown, right? You don't know me, society made all this fuss about me. I think that's actually kind of true. Like to, you know what I mean? Like I don't think that his behavior is right here, if that makes sense, but I think that what he's saying is actually like very honest in this moment. Like it was you guys that like deified me. I didn't do that, right? He played into it, obviously, because I think that like it's true, but also he's ignoring his own responsibility because he says they thrust this attention on me, put me in the line of fire, which is like true, but also not true. Like you kind of did this to yourself, Tachi. Like you wanted the attention. However, the public got carried away and kind of made you into something that you weren't. And that's not your fault. And so I feel like that there's a balance here. And that's something I really like about the show, is that they seem to have a balanced perspective on like content creators, but also the fans, right? Like there's a balance between like you as a creator and then the consumers, right? And it's kind of equal responsibility. And I'll use this analogy, right? I was talking to somebody the other day, older like person, they have kids, right? And we were kind of having a conversation and they were saying, oh, you know, I'm listening to what my son's watching. I hear like swearing in that video. I'll be right back. Cause we were having a lesson. It was a teacher of mine. And I was just like, we were having a conversation and I was like, oh, well, that's good that you're kind of like aware of what your kids are watching. And she was basically saying like, yeah, like, you know, a game like Minecraft, it may have kids that like to watch Minecraft, but ultimately that content creator may not be directing their content towards kids. And so it's your responsibility as the parent to like moderate what your kid is watching, which I totally agree with. But then I said also, right, you also should be mindful though, as a content creator about what you know, your audience is and what shows you're covering and stuff like that and things. And I understand, like, if you're, you know, doing like a game playthrough and it is like directed at adults, it's not entirely your fault, but there's just a balance of responsibility is what I was getting at, right? Like, I'm definitely not gonna say the same things that I say in an ODDTAXI review that I'm gonna say in a Miraculous Ladybug review. Like, I just know intrinsically it's different. And so I try to keep that in mind. And so we had a conversation about that because a lot of people will sort of be like, fuck you, got mine. It's the responsibility of the parents. It's none of my business, right? But I feel like that it's more of an equal responsibility than people do realize sometimes, especially if you know too that like a game that you're playing has more of a family-friendly audience. It's like, if I'm gonna cover a Disney movie, I probably am not going to like swear. I don't think that I did anyway in my Little Mermaid analysis, right? And so like you could argue that a kid probably won't watch a 30-minute Little Mermaid analysis, but like you should kind of like keeps things like that in mind as you're a content creator also. And so I use that analogy just to sort of illustrate the fact, like, yes, it's Tachi's fault. He clearly wanted the attention, but at the same time, consumers are also at fault as well for the pedestals that they put content creators on a lot of the time. And so it's very much like kind of like equal in that way, that there's equal responsibility on both sides. And I feel like that happens a lot in the case of like content creators. Like, you put this person on such a pedestal that when they start to fail and fall, that it really the perception of them is different compared to if it was a normal person that made a mistake, right? And we see that with, like, canceling people and stuff like that. And some people deserve to be canceled for sure. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not against accountability. I'm against, I guess, like, somebody made a mistake and suddenly it's like, oh, the world is ending, the pedestal is crumbling down, but you should have never put them on that pedestal in the first place, because we are human and we are going to make mistakes, right? And so it's up to a content creator to be responsible and try not to make those mistakes, right? To the best of their ability, to be mindful of things like that. On the other side, the consumers also shouldn't be putting you up on a pedestal either. So it's kind of a mutual responsibility, like our responsibility to do our best, but also we ask you to basically, do your best and remember to treat us like people, so we don't get into a position where people fall from pedestals that they shouldn't have been on in the first place, right? That's sort of my opinion, right? And so then, obviously, he gets a little, like, violent, which is not nice, and he gets a slap for it. And so, yeah, that's the only place where I was like, you lost me, Tachi, okay, with your, outburst there. Like, that's when you stop being reasonable, right? And so anyway, Dobu and Odokawa are together in the taxi, right? And so, yes, our goals are different, but we're partners on the same level who are temporarily working together, right? And so he's drinking a beer in the car, which I guess is fine, because, like, he's not driving. But still kind of weird. Like, this guy's, Dobu's like always drinking. But yeah, and so then Odokawa was starting to put the pieces together, is that the manager and the girl were dropped off by the wharf, and now Kakihana was involved with the girl by the wharf, and so it all makes sense, right? That would make it Yano's job. I can't do anything about that. And he's just like, I could give less of a shit, right? I only care about rescuing Kakihana. And what's interesting is you can see the truck right in the background. And that's, I was literally saying at the beginning of this episode, what happened to the Skull guy? Because the Skull guy's been gone for so long, and then here he is. Like, what? So then they go on to say there's an unspoken rule that we don't interfere with each other's business. I may not get along with Yano, but we're both trying to make money for the boss. And so see, like, the boss is the root of all this, right? And so it'd be funny that if the boss's actions led to the girl going missing, and being kidnapped in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is now tasking them with finding the missing girl because the daughter is a friend of an old classmate, right? But what if all of this is to say that the boss's actions in the first place led to the girl going missing in the pursuit of, like, money and crime and all that stuff? And so really, like, if the boss was never doing the crime, the girl would have never gone missing in the first place, I guess, you know what I mean? And so that's sort of what I'm thinking, is like, that may be the message of all of this, right? Like, the boss is like the root of it, and he a problem of his own creation. He wanted to find his friend's missing daughter, but he was inadvertently responsible for his friend's daughter going missing in the first place, right? And so he's basically focused, though, on saving Kakihana, and like, oh, wouldn't that mean Yano is interfering with your job, right? So the reason why Odokawa is saying this is because he's saying, if I can't save Kakihana, I will not help you rob a bank. And so doesn't that mean inadvertently, like, Yano is messing with your business, right? Like, he is messing with your job, right? Like, I feel like that's basically what he was saying, and that's why he's like, oh, you think you're so witty, right? Because basically Odokawa was saying, if I can't save Kakihana, I'm not gonna help you. And so that means that Yano's already interfered with your job, Dobu, because like, Yano's the reason why I won't help you anymore for kidnapping my friend Kakihana. Like, that's basically the whole idea, I guess. And so then we have the mask guy. Now, people on the Reddit were counting the bullets. I didn't check the thread for this week, I don't think. I only checked it for the last couple weeks. So people were counting, and they said he's almost out of bullets soon. I think maybe, though, he may just have unlimited bullets. Like, this may not follow, like, actual, I don't want to call it actual logic, but, like, real constraints. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, he's already shot off 3, I think, the last time that I checked the Reddit. Now, we get shot again because it grazes him, right? And so I can't tell if there's another one, but then Dobu gets shot again later. So at most there's 5 and he has 1 left. Otherwise, he's used all 6 in theory, if I'm, like, wrong about that and he shot 3 times in this episode. You know what I mean? Like, technically, if he shot 3 times, he should be out. And so if he has more bullets in the future, I think it's just gonna run on like anime logic. However, it is possible that there's only been 5 used up and there's still 1 more left, and that one will be for Odokawa. Not good, not good, right? I thought you didn't care if you died, right? No, I don't like pain, right? So Odokawa's like, nah, let's get out of here, right? He's terrifying. What's his problem? Are we still in Japan, right? And so they basically like speed away. And what's interesting about this is, well, first of all, Dobu throws a bottle at the car, like that's gonna help, right? But anyway, so he sees a cat in the middle of the street, right? And he decides to like, you know, stop so he doesn't hit the cat, and that ends up saving them like inadvertently. So you could say that it's almost like Odokawa's like good nature, you know, that saved them, because like he could have run over the cat and still kept going. But I think that like the gun guy, I think that the gotcha guy would have inevitably caught them, right? And so it's because of his good nature of him like stopping and not wanting to hit the cat that his car turned around and then the other guy crashed, right? And so I think that's interesting. And I wonder if the cat is also sort of foreshadowing, because we see a cat in the OP, right? And like a lot of people think that the cat in the OP is supposed to be like representative of either the actual cat that's in his closet or the missing girl that's in his closet, and I'm starting to get more worried that it's the missing girl, right? It would be interesting if from Dobu's perspective that was someone walking across the street and Odokawa saw it as a fake, I don't want to call it a fake cat, but like a cat, right? As opposed to a cat person. And so it'd be interesting, like what if Dobu later is like, oh man, you almost hit that guy, and then Odokawa was like, oh, the cat? Right? And it's like, that wasn't a cat, that was a human, right? And then that would like open up the door for the cat in his closet not being an actual cat, but being the missing girl instead. So that's an interesting thought. Not a good thought, but like interesting. And so it seems like also the gun guy has blood on him or something, maybe from the accident, or was that just the design of his hoodie? He has like blood all along like the collar, which doesn't really make any sense, but anyway. And so it's kind of like interesting how he keeps popping up when we least expect him, I guess. I was like, oh yeah, the gotcha guy hasn't been around for a while, and then suddenly he appears, right? That was a 1 in a million chance. I can't let you or I die right now. And so I feel like that when Odokawa was like, actually, no, I don't want to die, I don't like feeling pain, I feel like that it was almost possibly a lie, right? Like, I think it's true that he doesn't like feeling pain, but like the whole like, oh yeah, he told Dobu, right? Like, oh, I'm not afraid of dying, right? I think that maybe that's still true. And it's more like, I can't die because I need to take you down, and you can't die because I need to take you down and hold you responsible for your crime, right? And so I feel like it's like, Dobu, I can't let you die because I'm setting you up anyway, right? Like, Odokawa was like doing the justice, I guess. Like, I need to like set a trap and trap everyone and have them all get arrested. Like, personal revenge, I guess, or like vendetta is the thing that's keeping Odokawa alive. And so Kakihana has to use the restroom, right? And so anyway, this is just like the problem of keeping death row inmates who aren't assigned to penal labor incarcerated. You gotta take care of them. So that was pretty fucked up. I don't know like how Japan does like death row and stuff like that, but yeah, that's fucked. And so then we have, why are you scared of water, right? Who knows? Maybe I drowned in a previous life. I'm pretty sure that Odokawa is gonna end up in the water by the end of this anime. First of all, you have the OP where somebody in his body shape, right, is falling into the water. And it's possible too that the reason why we see him like that is because we're actually seeing him in his human form right there. Like, the reason why we don't see like Walrus Odokawa is because by the very end of the show, it's gonna be revealed that they're all human, and we may not even see like what Odokawa looks like, or maybe we will, like as he's falling in the water, the veil will be lifted and we'll see like the human that he was all along type of thing. But he's falling in the water. It was foreshadowed in the OP. He's looked at the water multiple times. Like, unfortunately, I think Odokawa was dying, and I'm going to be very sad about it because, like, you know what I mean? I've spent like 9 hours here with Odokawa, like probably more than that if you also count the actual reactions. Like, how would that be? Like 15 hours, right? If each half equals like an hour, you know what I mean? Like each half of all the episodes that I've reacted to so far. That math probably is incorrect, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I've spent a lot of time here with Odokawa, so I'll be really sad if he dies. And so yeah, then they basically like, you know, have a little bit of a fight. Right? The bear's like, oh, Dobu, why are you here? Sorry, but I'm here to rescue the kidnapping victim. What does Yano have to say about it? I haven't talked to Yano, right? And so that's important to keep in mind is they're all a part of the same gang. And so they're kind of talking to each other like, hey, Dobu, like, why are you here? Like, oh, well, you know, I have to help the kidnapping victim. Oh, is Yano okay with that? No. You know what I mean? Like, they're at odds with each other, but also they work together under the same branch. So it's like, hey, Dobu, like, how are you? Why are you here? Like, obviously it's not a how are you, like a cheerful conversation, but you have that sort of like implication to some extent. Like, oh, how does Yano feel about that, right? Because they're both working for the same boss, right? You made a man with an honest job your underling, you've fallen far, Dobu. So that's obviously talking about like Odokawa, and you're out here running Badger games, so I could say the same thing about you. I like their little like banter, right? Hey, taxi driver, I'm gonna chuck this guy into the sea, right? And so I feel like that may be foreshadowing too, like, what if it's Dobu that like throws Odokawa in the sea? Like, he finds out that Odokawa betrayed him and everything and somehow like doesn't get arrested and like throws him in the water like he said. But anyway, Odokawa, what was so funny about this is he looked around so slowly, and meanwhile these guys are like beating the shit out of each other, right? Like, they're just absolutely killing each other, and Odokawa was like, you know what I mean? He's looking around so slowly, and I just love like the look on his face when Odokawa comes to save him. It was so nice. Sorry to keep you waiting. Like, it was just such like a cute scene. And so he basically helps him out. What are they doing? They're idiots. They're idiots, so they don't know how to express their feelings. They use duty and human nature as an excuse for violence. And I was like, oh my god, that, like, this is deep from you, Odokawa. Like, this is so random. But I guess his point is that, like, they see a duty to the boss and they use that duty as an excuse to like beat each other up. You know what I mean? Like, kind of a little psychoanalysis. So this is interesting. I feel like that this guy may change sides because he says, if you beat me, I won't be able to face Yano, right? Like, I let Kakihana escape and like you beat me, like I can't face him, right? It's your fault you couldn't beat me. Why don't you take this opportunity to quit doing low tier jobs like Badger games? And I think that's interesting because what if he joins with Dobu instead? He like basically switches sides and then all Yano has is like the manager, right? Meanwhile, Kakihana, Odokawa, I don't know what to say. I'm so pathetic. And so yeah, Dobu basically walks away and then he gets shot by the gotcha guy, at least we think. However, it could be someone else. Cause like, yes, there is a blue sleeve and yes, there are the white gloves, but actually I'm gonna go back and see. I'm gonna go back and see it because what if it's not? What if it's somebody else? Like, what if it's like Rui or so? Actually, that person's wearing the same clothes as Kakihana, but we know that Kakihana's probably gone. Like, they're still wearing like the blue sweater, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain. Or like the blue jacket, the blue sleeves. And so it almost looks like Odokawa. Oh, guys, I found something. So look at this. He doesn't have gloves. So what if the person that shot Dobu, we think it's the masked guy, but what if it's not? Like, it almost doesn't seem like it is, because if we keep going, right? See, look at that. The other guy didn't have gloves. He had like the gray fur, right? This person has white gloves or white hands. And you know who else has white hands? Probably Rui, right? I think. I don't know. I would have to see her, or maybe the girl, maybe the calico cat as well could have shot Dobu, because like that's interesting, you know, because it's not the mask guy, it's someone else, right? And so that's like very, very fascinating, because he says skull mask. I thought you were an amateur, but he is. Skull Mask is an amateur. So who's not an amateur, right? I don't think it's Yano, because he puts on black gloves before he does stuff. So I think it may have been like Rui or the girl or somebody, right? And like, what if like that whole like audio drama, the whole like, oh yeah, I killed someone. What if it's like the girl's not an amateur because she's already shot somebody before? Like, what if it's the calico girl? Or it could be Rui. Oh my god. I would need to see their hands. Am I really gonna look for their hands? Okay. So upon investigating, we have 3 candidates, okay? It could be Shiho, because Shiho, I'm pretty sure, has white hands, right? And so she could have shot Dobu as like, not revenge per se, but like, you know, but she was already like go from Dobu, so that doesn't really make any sense. She could have been doing for Odokawa, like she knew that Odokawa was like doing all of this for her, because Gouriki talks to him later about that, right? Or was it last episode? No, he talks to him about it here. He's like, oh, are you doing this all for Shirawa? San, I think, right? And so I think he says that later to him, right? So Gouriki could have already figured it out and told Miho that he's been like doing all this dangerous stuff, but that wouldn't necessarily make sense with the timeline unless Gouriki knew all along and was just confirming his suspicions. Then the other two people that it could be are Rui, because Rui has hands like that, and then also the girl, like the calico cat girl. I think she's Shiho, right? If the alpaca lady is Miho, I think, right? And so it could be either of them. Now, I can't remember what they were wearing per se, but I think that like Rui has an outfit like this. I feel like we've seen her like this before. Okay, so I swear there was an episode where Rui was in a blue tracksuit, but I don't remember. But I think that this is her, 10,000%. Well, not 10,000% because it could also be Shiho or Miho. But I don't think that either of them would have as much cause to do it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like Miho seemed already like wanting to be out with Yano to begin with, and so you could say that maybe she has motive, like if she kills Dobu, that could be like payback to Yano and show him, hey, like I can do this, I can't run Badger games anymore, but I can kill people. God, no, but I think that it's Rui. I feel like Rui, I don't know, like deep inside, she is ambitious enough like to do anything, and Dobu is getting in her way. And so is Miho to some extent, right? Or Shiho, I should say. So is Shiho to some extent. So yeah, I'm not completely sure, but I feel like that it's Rui. It could be Shiho, but I think that Rui has, I don't want to say more reason to do it because I guess the reason is equal, but I'm gonna go with like resolve. Like I feel like that Rui has more resolve to do it because also Dobu is planning to rob the idol guy, and she would have a vested interest in making sure that the idol guy's money goes to her. And so that could be like reason enough, right? And I don't know if the gun model's the same. I'm not like smart enough for that, but I think that like the hand color is a very important clue here. I think if anything, it's not Skull Mask. It's definitely like somebody else. It's another character with white hands, right? So I think that that's very important here. And then Tachi basically like pops up. And so they have a little like reminiscing session. I don't know if this like puzzle box has like any significance other than the fact like, you'd perform all 36 steps and open the thing like a show off. Yeah, I remember that. Do you remember what happened to that box? And then basically his mom like broke it and like trashed it. And his like psychoanalysis is basically like his mom couldn't open the box, so she got frustrated and like broke it open. And that's like the time, that you changed. Like you've been pathetic ever since is what he says. And I feel like there is a metaphor in there that once like Kakihana was bright and brilliant, and then his parents like crushed him, and then that was the end. But they have a laugh about it, which is again kind of weird, you know what I mean? Like Odokawa was basically like, hey, remember that traumatic thing that probably influenced the rest of your childhood, right? And so I don't know, but anyway, and so yeah, Tachi's here. So again, it wasn't Tachi that shot him, obviously. And so he starts recording and he's like, apologize to everyone and you haters, right? And so he was so like adamant about like making Dobu apologize, but he doesn't even focus on that anymore. He's like, I got Dobu, and like everyone who said that I couldn't do it, like he focused right back on himself seconds later. He doesn't even make Dobu say the stuff that he said he was gonna make him do. He focuses on himself. Look how good I am. You guys were heckling me. You guys were talking shit about me. Well, I got Dobu all by myself, right? And so that's like the whole idea. And I love like the turn back to the camera here. I love this. Just like how he's like, huh? Like, you know what I mean? He turns back to Dobu, but Dobu's already gone. Like that was like peak comedy. And so no, Tachi doesn't have the gun, right? There's somebody else out there, and I feel like that it's either Rui or Miho. But didn't Miho leave? Didn't she go somewhere? Right? Because she said that she wanted to talk to Yano, but then like she never did because Yano was busy. So did she just leave? Like, I don't know. Like what happened to her and the manager? I don't know. Anyway, all right, then let's hear what you have to say, right? And so then he just surrenders, and Dobu's like, bro, what? As you can see, I can't beat you in a fight. Is that the extent of your sense of justice, right? So Dobu's like getting right into it. He's like, bro, you're not even gonna try to fight me? You vowed to catch me. Like, bro, like when was your resolve this week? And so then you never had any sense of justice to begin with, did you, right? Like he's basically kind of, I know it's a period, but he's asking it like as a question. It's like, oh, I see. You never had any, you never had any resolve. You never had any sense of justice. justice, did you, right? And this seems so deep. Why don't you try reflecting on the principles that drove you to act? I'm like, Dobu, I didn't know that Dobu was so, like, again, like, analytical in this way. Like, this was crazy, right? I wanted attention. You got it. Now, why not dig a little deeper? Why do you want attention? And I feel like that this is just so, like, it's too real. It's too real. It's because you wanted approval from others, yeah? And why did you want approval from others? Because you have no belief in yourself, right? You have no self-esteem. And I'm just like, damn, Dobu, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, you know? Because you have no confidence, you can't approve of yourself. So basically, you can't approve of yourself without having self-esteem. So you need to seek the approval from others, because how can you approve yourself if you have no confidence in your own opinion, right? Like, it's kind of like, you know, if I have no self-esteem and I don't think that I'm good enough, how am I good enough to say that I'm good enough, right? But you may see other people as good enough to say that you're good enough, you know, like that whole thing, right? But despite of that, you're more narcissistic than anyone. And this was like, so real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the writing for the show is good, but to have it be this good, because like, this is something that I was not familiar with before, but I was watching a Dr. K video the other day. And if you guys don't know, he's a doctor, you know, graduated from Harvard and does all this like psychological stuff on stream. And he talks about a bunch of stuff like motivation and addiction and video game addiction, stuff like that. And he talks to a lot of like Twitch streamers too and helps them like with their problems. And so I watched a video from Dr. K the other day that was basically saying that there's two spectrums of like narcissism, right? There's the narcissists that are full of themselves, right? In like a, I don't want to say a positive way because it's not a good thing, but like, I guess we'll say like positive in terms of like they feel good about themselves, right? They feel so good about themselves that they are a narcissist. But then you have narcissists on the other spectrum that feel so badly about themselves that they are full of themselves in like the opposite way, if that makes sense. And so like you can be a narcissist and be self-deprecating. And so I like only learned that the other day, but the show is like putting that in there, you know what I mean? Because he says like, oh, you know, no, I'm not a narcissist. And that was something that I think Dr. K went into a little, is that most people who think that they are like self-deprecating, they're like, oh, but I can't be a narcissist, because we think of narcissistic people as like, you know, full of yourself in like a good way, if that makes sense. Right? Like overconfidence to the point of like narcissism, right? Like that's sort of how we think of it. If we think that someone's narcissistic, we think that somebody is like overconfident in themselves. But like narcissism can also be the opposite, right? Like that you are so obsessed with like your self-image that you go to the point of like self-deprecation and like a constant need to seek approval. But that constant need to seek approval inadvertently makes you the center of attention, right? Like that's the whole thing, is that like with narcissism, it's about being the center of attention, right? And so it doesn't matter which way it is. Like some narcissists are like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at how amazing I am. But if you do the opposite and you say, look at me, look at me, look at me, look how awful I am, right? In order to get people to like kind of pity you and be like, no, you're not, like, you know, don't say that, right, about yourself. Like you do it to get a reaction from those people. You're still making everything about yourself. And so that's what Dobu was saying. And so that said, receiving attention didn't magically make me like myself, right? So that's Tachi saying that, and I find that interesting just because, again, like that's a big part of like the influencer culture, I guess, is that what people don't realize is getting money and getting attention is not going to fix like your, you know, your mental state. You can use that money to pay for therapy, but like it's kind of like the money doesn't buy happiness sort of thing. Like there's a threshold that money and attention and certain things can like kind of fix or improve for you. It's kind of like, you know, we all want attention. We all want friends, you know, we all want like companionship and stuff, but there's a threshold to how much like having friends in your life can like fix like underlying foundational problems. Or like same thing with money. Like they say that like, yes, like money buys stability and like not having to be stressed out all the time about money does like buy you happiness, but there's a threshold, right? After you make a certain amount of money, it stops making you happy. Like I think that they've done like actual studies on that, right? And so I think that that's like with everything in life. It's sort of like, you know, that can help a little bit, right? Like a little bit of attention. We all need attention. We all need money. We all need this, but like you can't think that accumulating like massive amounts of like, you know, wealth is going to fix like your mental health problems, right? and all that stuff, or getting a massive amount of attention is going to fix your like foundational self-esteem problems and stuff like that. But it felt so good, so I kept escalating. Now I'm so scared, I don't know what to do. I regret it. I've always hated myself, right? So that's Tachi saying that again. But then Dobu's like, no, you don't understand. What I'm saying is your extreme rejection and hatred for yourself is narcissism. And he's just like, what? Like, you know what I mean? He's confused. Normal people aren't that interested in themselves, right? To do the opposite, you know what I mean? And so I thought that that was so clever because that's real. You like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't like trust everything I read on the internet, but I'm like, bro, that's what Dr. K said the other day. Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy that this show was like real, but that's like real. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's just insane that they like went there, you know? And so I love how find a mentor you trust, not an unspecified large number of people, one you can respect. And I wonder if that's gonna be Dobu because he calls him Dobu-san. You know what I mean? If that's too difficult, then approve of yourself. In any case, you need to learn to accept yourself. And I think that that's true too. You know what I mean? Like he needs to like find like self-love basically. Then he calls him Dobu-san, right? And so then he resolved to go back to school to look for a job to live one day at a time, basically like give up everything. And he's like, thank you, my eyes have been open, I'm leaving, right? And he's like, wait a minute, like, you know what I mean? Dobu's like, I'm not running like a self-improvement seminar. You remember that I'm a gangster, right? And that you like, you know, kind of was trying to ruin my life and get me arrested, right? As you know, I don't make an honest living. I feel like this is almost like the genie in a bottle, if that makes sense. It's like every wish has a price. You know, like you got advice, you got self-improvement seminar from Dobu, but now you owe him your car, your apartment, all your money, you know what I mean? Like all of that sort of stuff, an apology to the entire internet, right? And so he basically gives up everything that he accumulated from his fame, and that kind of resets him to square one. And I think that's so like poetic in a way that he has to give everything or trade everything to Dobu in order you know, to, I guess, like, live, like, a self-accepting kind of life. Like, he has to give everything to Dobu that he accumulated through his clout chasing, and now he's reset back at, like, 0, you know? And so I find that, like, very, like, narratively compelling. I thought that that was really, really good, right? You did make that money off of me, right? And so they actually do point it out, right? Like, yeah, like, you know, it's only fair. You made that money off of clout chasing for me, and it was all like an act. So that, like, that's the proper punishment for Tachi's clout chasing and for his crime. Like, it's a very, like, not a fairy tale, but more of, like, those stories that have, like, a heavy moral, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, that is the price to pay, and I think that that's, like, a good ending. It comes full circle, in a way. Like, it's those, like, fairy tale stories that have, like, oh, you know, and at the end, like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, like, at the end, Tachi paid the price, right? And the price was sort of, like, fitting, and it all came full circle. Like, that was like his moralistic, I don't know, his moral punishment, I guess you could say, as if it was a fairy tale, right? And so then we have Kakihana, right? His mind and body are in a pretty weakened state, because it's been like a week, you know what I mean? Like, he's been starved, he's gotten like a little food and water, but still, I'll give him a discount, bro. Japan doesn't have free healthcare, like what? Anyway, so then Gouriki is just like, okay, well, by the way, Odokawa, now that, you know, I have you here, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, why are you getting yourself involved in all this nonsense, right? I'm gonna take down Dobu. I'll use whatever I can, and ultimately I'll take out his entire organization. You're just a taxi driver. Why do you need to do that? Are you avenging Shirakawa-san, right? She's a good girl at heart. And so this was interesting because, like, I did not feel sympathy towards Miho at all, and I didn't think that the show was trying to make her sympathetic either, but maybe I totally misread that, because, like, the reason why I felt unsympathetic for her is because I thought she was lying, not necessarily about what Dobu put her through, but about her loving Odokawa. Like, I thought that that was nonsense, and I still think that that's not true, but I think I see it more as, like, she is in such a fragile state, like, as the victim in this situation, that she kind of like grabbed on to like to dear life, I guess, to Odokawa, like for almost like, you know, to replace like the male figure in her life. Like, if I want to psychoanalyze, like, she basically tried to replace Dobu with Odokawa, and it's sort of like manufactured feelings, if that makes sense, right? And so I feel like that that's probably what happened. I don't think that that's why, though. I don't think it's for Miho. I think it may be for like the missing girl and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And also what they did for Kakihana, right? Like, you just want to take down, like, all the crime, but I don't know. And so, yeah, Gouriki tries to, like, you know, say, yeah, she did bad things, but she's the victim, all of that sort of stuff. In some way, she brought it on herself. She may have been controlled by fear, but it was her weakness that made her follow Dobu's instructions. But see, like, Odokawa takes issue with that because, you know, he's like, yes, like, Dobu did a lot of bad stuff, but it was her own personal weakness. But then, like, Odokawa was like, no, she didn't bring it on herself. Haven't you heard of Stockholm Syndrome, right? And so I feel like that, like, either Gouriki is a bit, I don't want to say he's judgmental, but I think that there's two avenues. Either he's, you know, kind of like, I don't want to call it stereotypical either, but he's sort of like, you know, in that mindset of, oh, like, it was just her own, like, personal weakness. But given the fact that he's so, like, committed to, I guess, treating Odokawa's brain, I think that he was actually just, I don't want to call it bullshitting, but I think he was doing it on purpose. I think he was trying to, like, I don't want to, I don't want to say, I've been saying a lot of, I don't want to say this, but I'm trying to find the right words. I think that he was doing it on purpose, if that makes sense. That he was basically trying to rile him up and see what Odokawa would say about it. Like, obviously he knows about Stockholm Syndrome. He's like a doctor, right? But I think that he was basically saying it to see how Odokawa felt about it. Because if he agreed with her, like, oh yeah, she brought it on herself, that would show a level of anger and, like, hatred towards Miho. But instead he defends her. And so I feel like that the doctor was basically kind of pretending to be like, oh, you know, it was her weakness. She brought it on herself. Because if Odokawa said, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Fuck her, right? Like, that would obviously give evidence to, like, certain feelings that Odokawa has. But instead he defends her, right? But yeah, basically what I'm saying is that I think Gouriki was saying something he doesn't really believe in order to see what response he would get from Odokawa, right? Like, he was trying to be like, yeah, you know, she brought it on herself, you know, and to see what Odokawa would say in response, but he doesn't think that way. That's no reason for you to cross this dangerous bridge, right? And so that's what he says. Do you love Shirakawa-san that much, right? And I don't think he does. I don't think it's about her. I think that that's a lot of assuming. Like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I feel like that it's not about Miho anymore. I feel like that that's what they all think. If it is, I think that that's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, for him, like, after everything she did, for him to be doing this all for her, you know what I mean? He already got her off the hook, right? Like, that would be, I don't know, like, someone he didn't even really know. He just sort of fell in love with because she gave him the littlest of attention. Like, I feel like Odokawa's not like that. If he is, I guess that kind of makes sense for his character, right? He really did want somebody interested in him, but I feel like that, like, that's not why. I feel like that it's, at this point, he realizes they're involved with the disappearance of the missing girl, right? Then we have Tachi basically apologizing and like, oh, you know, I'll erase the account. I'm not a hero nor champion of justice. And so I feel like that was part of Dobu's conditions because it was like, wait a minute, there's one more thing. And so this was the one more thing that he wanted Tachi to do, because I think that that's how that scene ended. He was like, wait, Tachi, there's one other thing before you go. You gotta post something like this. And so obviously he's filming and he's also filming horizontally instead of like Tachi was filming before in horizontal, if that makes sense. He was no, sorry, he was filming in vertical, right? So Tachi filmed in vertical, whereas Dobu filmed in horizontal. It's probably not that important. I think that Tachi filmed in horizontal when he was at his home, but I'm saying using his phone, so that makes it clear that somebody else has set up the phone is basically what I mean, right? I simply lost to myself, so I asked the rest of you to leave Dobu alone. And I'm not offering refunds for the online salon because he has to give Dobu his money. He's a tough guy. And so he's, Odokawa was basically saying, you know, like, both of them, like, fell to Dobu already. And then, look at this, oh man. And then he throws his phone in the water, and I could see, similar to how Kakihana in this episode goes to fish out the engagement ring from the water, I feel like that Tachi could do the exact same thing, fish out his phone, and then like edit the conversation he recorded. Somebody was saying that on the Reddit, and I think that that's so true. Like, I think that, you know what I mean? Like, we've seen phones survive being like submerged in water, okay? Like with the gotcha guy, like, yes, his cloud save wasn't there, but like video files are kind of different. They're not in the cloud, right? So what if he like recovers his phone? Because you'd think it would be nice for Tachi's arc to end with like him deleting his social media and trying to improve himself, but I could also see it going in the direction of him fishing out his phone and like realizing that he's not that okay with not having attention as he thought. Like, what if he just embraces being a narcissist? That could be the closure to his story too. Kakihana had a weird scene over here because he threw the engagement ring in the water and then he goes to get it, and I think that that was like so funny because like it just shows how like short-sighted Kakihana is. Like he's like fuck this fake like relationship, throws the ring in the water, forgetting the fact that he owes the loan sharks like so much money. Like, bro, use that to pay off your debt. That's what I was saying during the reaction. But meanwhile, Gouriki basically goes to visit the landlady, and they have like a conversation about Odokawa, and she basically explains about like, oh, you know, I'm Odokawa's guardian. He's had like gone through X, Y, and Z lately with the police coming and the gunshot through the window, but I'm his guardian, right? And I've already received enough rent for him to live here for life. So I think that she's basically saying he doesn't need to move. He's not causing me any trouble. I already have all the money, so like I don't want him to leave. I feel like that's her mentality, right? And there's this foundation, and I wonder if we're ever gonna find out the source of this foundation, because this is like sus as fuck. Some secret foundation that gives people money. Like, what if it's like just his parents? Because like they said that the parents were dead, but what if it's not? Or what if it's like a family foundation or something, you know? Because it's like, oh, the conditions of the foundation, we're not saying where the money came from, but like what if like it's, you know, some like secret thing because it's Odokawa's parents are still alive? Or what if it's like, imagine this, imagine that the reason why boss needs money, like the boss of like the Yakuza, is because the Yakuza boss like created a foundation to pay for like orphans or something. Like, I know that that would be random, but like the boss seems to be very concerned about his classmate's daughter, like his friend's daughter, you know? And so what if he also like cares about orphans or something? So wouldn't it be funny if Odokawa tries to take down the very organization that helped him like throughout his life, you know what I mean, for money? Like, what if that old Yakuza boss, like they are the secret foundation and they gave Odokawa the ability to live, but Odokawa then takes them down? And that could be an interesting angle too, because they're doing all this illegal activity, but they're doing it for the orphans. Like, that's a very fascinating way to like phrase everything. Very interesting, right? And so, since Odokawa started working, he's been paying more than his rent. He told me to return the money to the foundation's representative, right? But I don't think that that's going to happen based off of her implication. She's just kind of like holding on to it right now. And so then we get like a shot of the closet. So there is a cup there and like some stuff like that, but I feel like that, I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going on in that closet. I'm just worried. Alone, he's been living off the foundation's money. Yes, sometimes he eat at my place, right? So this is when he was a kid, right? He's been here since the 5th grade. He said he didn't want to trouble me, and I think what's funny here is that we actually see the lady has a little dog and the dog looks like her, right? I helped him with any necessary business at school and the public office. I just felt so bad for him. Could you tell me the name of the foundation or representative itself? I don't know if I can. Their condition is that in exchange for not seeking any profit or tax benefits, our identities are kept secret. I think that they meant their identities, right? Like the identities of both like the guardians as well as like the foundation members, right? And so I think what's interesting about that is, what if it is the Yakuza boss? That would be so cool, and they're using the illegal money, you know? But you deposit the money you get from Odokawa, right? Of course I do. So it seems like Odokawa is sitting on a bunch of money, right? He's paying the lady in rent since he started working, but like he has all this like foundation money still, you know? And so I think that that's interesting, right? If Odokawa was moving, then I intend to return the money I've been holding on to. Do you know where Odokawa lived before coming here? So it seems like that Odokawa was sitting on a fat pile of cash. Maybe he'll use it to pay off Kakihana's like debt, right? But I feel like Kakihana should get himself out of that mess. Like, he got into it. I don't feel like Odokawa should pay for that, right? And so then Gouriki finds out like where he used to live, and it seems like next episode he's actually going there. Was living at an orphanage or with family not an option? It's what Odokawa wanted. I guess so. His parents might return someday. Like, he's kind of like, oh yeah, his parents may return someday after all. It makes sense he wouldn't want to be adopted by a new family. And so then we get this bombshell like, oh, are you really his friend, right? I heard Odokawa's parents are missing. Odokawa told you that? That's what I was told. Maybe that's what he believes. They're not missing, they're dead. both of them. And so see, that was the implication I got, and I talked about that I think at the end of my reaction, is that it was like, even in earlier episodes, I was like, it's so clear that Odokawa's parents are dead by that car accident scene, so why is Kakihana being like, oh, you know, when your parents get back, don't you want to be happily married? Like, I thought he was like rubbing it in his face, and I thought it was oddly mean, but then you guys clarified, like, no, Kakihana said that because the parents are missing, right? But I knew all along that they were dead, right? And so then we see the stuff for next episode. So we actually see Odokawa talk to Boss, but now Boss is like boss of like Dobu boss, right? And so I wonder how that's going to go. Then we see Gouriki basically visiting, I guess, the place where Odokawa used to live, right? And so that's interesting. And so somebody says at the top, like the martial art, right, that Miho talked about, right? Okay, you said before you didn't know how people picked up blank martial art, right? And so that seems to be him talking to Boss, maybe, I'm not sure. We also see the student with the comedy duo guy, obviously, right? And so it seems like that they like found each other, I guess, after like that scene with the car or whatever, like when he was running towards him and then he ran away. Do you want me to hit you with a blank? So this is the martial art thing. I'm just not I'm not trying to pronounce that into a blank, right? And so I think, sorry, I don't know what those are, but those techniques sound scary, right? And so again, that's like the martial art thing. So predictions, okay? I think that Rui shot Dobu. I think that we're gonna get a scene soon, probably with the idols, about like, because first of all, didn't like the recording of Rui and her boyfriend get leaked? Like, shouldn't they, you know, like, shouldn't the internet be like outraged that she has a boyfriend based off of like idol culture and stuff? And then also, shouldn't the recording have been leaked too about like both of the idol girls talking shit about her? Like, that's the only thing I'm surprised at, is that nobody ever comments on the audio dramas despite them clearly taking place in the show. You know what I mean? Like, they're clearly canon to the show because of like the giraffe guy like actually exists. Like, they're not just for our benefit. So I'm really shocked that nobody's brought them up. And then also how the fanboy will react to Rui being taken, right? Because of his obsession with wanting to have her, how that will affect the money. Does Rui want to rob the idol boy like I talked about in previous videos? There's just a lot. Obviously, we have Odokawa sweating here with Dobu, so I feel like that Dobu knows that Odokawa ratted him out to the police and stuff. Like, I feel like that there's a lot going on next episode, and I'm super excited for it. But those are basically my base predictions, is that Dobu knew all along Odokawa was selling him out. He's gonna have a conversation. Odokawa's gonna have a conversation with Boss. Something is gonna go down with the idol group. Maybe we'll get like the masked skull guy, he'll be around or something. I feel like that no matter who did it, the skull mask guy is going to get arrested for the girl's murder, you know? I feel like that they're going to pin it on him, even if it was somebody else after all, right? And so, yeah, that's basically all from me. I hope that you guys enjoyed my little analysis. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!